I watched the movie yesterday, and you know what? I bloody love a good superhero movie that has so many things to it. It must be fantastic for you, when you see a script and you're like, you know what? I'm going to be working on this, seeing fantastic actors.
Amazing. I mean, it literally, so because Tom Hardy, sort of, I got a call from him out of the blue saying, "Would you like to, direct this?" And then when I read Kelly and Tom's script, it was a gift. It was fantastic. It was already an established character, but coming into this part of the story was like I've been given this huge present. They've done all the setup, and now we get to really enjoy the odd couple relationship that has been established, and the nuances of their the way that they relate to each other, and plus you get the introduction of a fantastic villain, and in the guise of Woody Harrelson playing Cletus Cassidy and Carnage. And it was, what I loved about it was this brilliant kind of truthful, quite serious themed story of dysfunctional relationships, which then grows into total chaotic comedy, which then grows into sort of operatic, big, huge set pieces. And I mean, it was just a fantastic canvas to play with.
Because you jumped in for the second movie, right? You've got the fandom, and anything you say now or anything you have said in the last while, people are waiting for everything. How does fandom go with your head? I'm always interested, with people who work in the movie business. How do they deal with all that? Because fandom's mad.
It is kind of crazy, and but it is very much part of what the world that I've been involved in for quite a few years now, and in all of the different jobs that I've done and worlds that I've been part of. So I sort of got used to it. But with a comic book character particularly, I think there are so many strong opinions about the color of Carnage, the red, does it exceed, does it disappoint, does it, the expectations are huge. Venom, how he manifests, as a wraith that comes out, is that truly symbiotic? There's lots of, there's of course the diehard enthusiasts, the ones who are extremely into these worlds and that mean a lot to them. You're never going to please everybody all the time, but what we're doing is we are making a movie which hopefully takes the ingredients, the essence, the energy, the great things about those characters and brings them to an audience that many of whom won't have heard of Venom before. So that's the balance, and that's the challenge.
Is there a movie in itself, watching it, as it's being made without the CGI? So you can see the likes of Tom or Woody chatting to themselves. Like, is that funny in itself for your eyes, watching it as it's being made?
What do you mean before the CG characters?
Yeah, before all that. So if you're watching them, react to something that's actually not there, is that like a funny, like a comedy in itself?
Well, it kind of is, although because I've been there myself so many times, you sort of get used to it, and you do that imagining. I mean, that's what you have to do when you're framing shots. You're framing Carnage, and he's going to be a certain height, and you have someone standing there with a pole, and then you've got the back of Stephen Graham who's acting against a Carnage head on a 9-foot pole, and he's got to act his socks off, and but then you have that's what it really requires. A great deal of imagination from the actors, but then all of the actors that we were working with have great imagination, so it was easy peasy.
Looking at the movie, you can kind of see that everyone has such a great relationship. Do you guys go out for like drinks or dinner before it all, just to kind of get to feel comfortable all with each other, or is it just day one on set, here we go?
No, we hang out, and there are lots of opportunities to hang out and relax, and if you're on location or whatever, you've done a night shoot and you go back to the bar afterwards, of course, those moments happen, and there's generally a sort of a rehearsal period where everybody comes together, and you might share a lunch or get to you talking about stuff, or it's never like you're turning up cold on day one. Well, not in my experience anyway, that usually there's a sort of breaking in period. I think in smaller productions, in independent films, in certain TV shows, that can happen, but certainly on these sort of bigger films there is that luxury.
Before I go, Tom is just fantastic, isn't he? Like, anything I've ever seen him in, like, what's it like just watching him perform his craft?
I mean, he's a machine. He's fantastic. He's just brilliant, and he, quite frankly, you know, he didn't need anybody there because it's all in his head, and the way that he crafts the relationship between he and Venom, you know, is by doing these recordings of just before the scene, before you shoot the scene, he'll do a vocal pass on all Venom's lines, and then a sound operator plays those lines for him, and he's playing back in his ear, and he's able to improvise off them. It's remarkable to watch, and you know, one of the great things about being a director and an actor and knowing how it works is learning from other actors and continuing to learn from. And he's a force. He really is. And then, you know, Woody and Naomi and Michelle, all of them bring what they bring to the table. Just, and Stephen Graham, you know, all of them bringing their A game. Just is great to watch. But Tom is very special in this. He really is.
Amazing. Andy, thank you so much for today. It was great. The movie was fantastic. Saw it yesterday. Really enjoyed it. Like, I needed something like that just to go whatever.
Good.
Thank you so much from Dublin. Okay.